Hey everybody, it's Mr. Cottle here. I wanted to come to us today in a video and talk to us about guidelines for the upcoming block schedule. So let me go ahead and kind of talk to you guys about some of the expectations and ways that we're going to do things a little bit different to help make the block scheduling an enjoyable process where we can still get all the learning that we need without it, hopefully feeling like a really long 75-minute time period here. All right. The first one's going to be on time or be early. Uh, you know, with that being that we've already been doing, half and half, some people at home every other day. As you guys are well aware, it's really easy when you're digital to show up, a couple minutes late. The class has already been talking for a few moments. Maybe they're doing the prayer or whatever. When we're here on these block schedules, I really want us to be on time. So, like, say our class starts, for example, at 11. I want everybody online ready to go at 11. If we're getting on after that, it could cause some distractions or disruptions with, some of the different things we're looking at. Now, obviously, there's going to be technological issues that sometimes pop up. Please communicate those. But let's work really hard to make sure we're being on time or early. There's going to be a daily discussion post that needs to be in by the start of class. And that's going to be a great activity for you to do while waiting. And I'll cover more on that here in a little bit. But for the first 0 to 5 minutes of each class, so sometimes it might be a little longer for the 5 minutes, sometimes it might be a little shorter. We're going to need to have our cameras on to see each other. Now that we're all digital, it would be very easy for us all just to kind of hide behind the blank screens and us being on other apps while we're talking and seeing how everybody's been in the last couple of days. But it's going to be really important that we are able to see each other and still interact as we're talking about some of our discussion posts and doing our prayer. It lets everybody out there see that you're there and that you're listening to them and that we're still a part of a community. I don't want the community piece to drop that we've been working so hard to build. And then also it'll give an opportunity for the people on the other side to see the other side, because we haven't been doing, because of the way that I do the presentations and class sharing with the iPad, we haven't had opportunities to see the faces of the other half on the screen. So I want everyone to now be coming together as a united class with our cameras on for those first couple minutes, which means you won't be on your other apps in the background. You'll actually be listening and engaging with our classmates as we share and engage. There's going to be times where we go into small groups with a different Google Meet link. I'll kind of cover how that will work. I am going to be cycling through those to check to make sure that everybody has successfully showed up into those groups and is working. And that'll be one of the smaller segments of class each day where people hop into those groups. We'll be filling out a form, like a Google form or a Schoology form about some of the stuff that we've been learning, where we'll work together and get to engage. And so we'll need to be able to make smooth transitions over into those groups and then, eventually transition out of those back into the main class group. So be ready for, things like that. We will have 5-minute breaks during class. During those breaks, it allow people to, use the restroom, get recharged, whatever, and also think about, what questions they might still have. Just kind of a little bit of a regroup opportunity for everybody. To where you can still, get some learning done by maybe looking up something that you're confused on, or being like, hey, I don't know what this is, and I'm kind of taking this break. I'm going to sit here and then think about it, and then I'll ask about it when I return. And then when we come back, which will be about, halfway or maybe a little longer through the class, depending, we'll want those cameras back on. It's kind of a secondary attendance check because we don't want people going missing during the middle of class. So it'll kind of help verify and hold everybody accountable that we've, stuck around for that far through the class. So as you can see through the first portion, there'll be, a couple different times to where, you have to log off the Meet and log on to the groups, log out of the groups, log back onto the class. So it's really going to make sure that people are staying with us and not just being signed on and walking away. So you'll definitely be exposed as that if you aren't physically there listening and then following the different instructions. We're going to continue on with the concept of Edpuzzle videos. When I assign the videos, it's going to be extremely important that you watch them. I'm going to work on keeping them 12 to 15 minutes long, which I know is right at the edge of people's attention spans at like 12 minutes. So I'm going to work hard to hit that 12-minute goal. Sometimes they might roll a little longer. And I'll help the couple people that I think are doing this incorrectly, but we will need to watch them through the Schoology app so that it registers. I know that sometimes people have been taking links and copying it and watching it on a bigger screen or something like that, which you can do as a secondary method, but I will need everybody to watch it through the first time and answering the questions through the Schoology app so that it registers properly into the system. Because with me having over 100 or so students, when people don't do that correctly, it can become quite the task of me tracking people down to ensure that they have properly watched the videos. And now that I'm not going to be seeing people in person to kind of have those conversations, it'll be really important that we watch the Schoology Edpuzzle videos in the app, because if you try to exit it, it no longer correctly registers, and then it doesn't appear that you have watched it. As I mentioned, though, you could watch it the first time on that and then export it to the larger screen and watch it a second time if you want to, but I need it once done through the app. Our first discussion post is going to be about our Thanksgiving break, just a way for everyone to kind of type out their experiences, kind of what happened to them. I'm going to make daily discussion posts ready between 8 and 8:15, typically in the morning, which is during the student teacher office hours. So for example, B and D period, we'll see theirs show up tomorrow morning. In my opinion, the best way to fill these out is going to be to log on to the class Google Meet 1 to 2 minutes early and fill them out then. They will all be short and easy, talking about what you did over the weekend, different small things. And when you think about it, being online 1 to 2 minutes early is no different than sitting in a desk in person and waiting. When, we had half the people in class, we did not have everybody hanging out in the hallway, waiting till exactly, class is going to start and then walking into the class and sitting down, after like the 9 o'clock start time. People were there seated in their seats, kind of ready, moving some files around, looking at their notability, whatever. It's no different when you're at home. It is very appropriate to be on that Google Meet 1 to 2 minutes early or more, waiting for class to start. You do not want to be logging in, as I said earlier, 30 seconds after the class has started or a minute after the class has started. I need people to be there early and ready to go. It'll be really important for us to follow these guidelines to help this process run smooth. I've worked hard to create a system where we're going to get interactions in multiple ways, as well as homework time during classes, but it's only going to work if we do our part. So for example, if people aren't transitioning into the groups correctly, or they're just choosing not to fill out the forms or those types of things that I have set up for us, it'll switch the block scheduling, from the way that I have it set up to a more, structured way to where maybe people definitely won't be enjoying their time as much. So we need to do all of our parts to make sure that we keep this block scheduling running smoothly so that the 75 minutes can be really enjoyable, because I only get to see us every other day. Let's also remember there are only 7 class meetings left between now and Christmas break. So let's make the most of them. So if you think about that, that's hardly any at all. So let's really, muster up some energy here and get ready for 7 more math periods as we head into Christmas break. I will have office hours available before school, and there's a block after school, and I'll advertise those times to us as we are getting into the actual meetings starting tomorrow. So thank you guys for checking this out, and I'll start to see some of you all tomorrow and some of you all the next day. Thank you.